Okay, so the following indicator that we're going to cover is the Ultimate Bands indicator. So we're coming near the end of the list of the indicators. So the Ultimate Bands indicator is going to provide a band. It's going to basically draw bands around the price, and it's going to help highlight highs and lows of price movement. So we've got a few different options. You can obviously change the coloring of those bands themselves. I like to make the center band transparent, just because I'm not too concerned about what happens in the middle of the band. So it's really just the outsides that I am looking at. So if I make this back to transparent, let's do that. And obviously you can also change the opacity of the band. So if you want to make them a lot darker, you can apply them and they'll obviously go a lot darker like that. There's also an option to highlight the reversal bars. So you're going to see price entering the bands, and then you got the opportunity to highlight the certain reversal bars. So those are the bars that are basically entering the band and then exiting the band. Now the interesting thing with the reversal, adding the highlighting the reversal bars, is it's actually going to show you the indicator signals at the time that they were generated. Now it would be absolutely incredible if these bands did not repaint, but unfortunately they do repaint because they're following the price on a tick by tick movement. So you'll notice, I just added this to a 1-1 chart, and you're going to notice these bands are going to move, but what they are going to do is they're going to show the last signal that generated the reversal. It's always going to show you the last accurate signal. So over here we're noticing the bands are moving as the price is moving, and this is a 1-1 tick chart. So we're going to notice, we're going to see in a moment. So all the way while this price was running down, the price was within the bands. So you can't use this indicator. It's not advisable to use this indicator on its own to make informed trading decisions. So there's an amazing indicator to use with this one, but for right now we'll just cover the basics of this indicator and how it looks. Let's just watch this for a second. You're watching this price just continually drop. Let's just flick to the new chart. So here for example we have two data series on one chart. So this is a little bit more in line with taking trading decisions. You've got more of an accuracy rate on this one because you've got a smaller data series along with a larger data series. So if I go into my data series on my chart, I've got an 8-8 bar like that. And I've also, I've got the 8-8 bar, I've got 5 days, break at end of day on the analytical bars. I've left the candle body outline all visible, and it's in panel 1. Then what I've done is I've added a second data series to the same chart. I've doubled it, made it a 16-16. With this one here, I've used the same data on the chart, but I've made the outline and the wick and the bars transparent. So I've done that, and then what I've gone and done is gone to the indicator list, and I've added 2 instances of the ultimate bands. So the first ultimate band is linked to the 8-8 chart, and the second ultimate band is linked to the 16-16 chart. And what this does is it's going to show you signals. So again, not 100%. So if you're going to be entering a position over here as an example, the price is within both of the bands. So as an example, you see the lower band of the 8-8 and the lower band of the 16-16 are basically touching, just like they did over there. So the chance of entries around this area, just looking at this specific indicator or these data series together, is a lot higher, just like it would have happened over here and in this section over here, and what would have happened towards the top of this. So seeing a confluence basically of these ultimate bands together with a data series will give you more confidence in entering a position, because what will happen is the smaller bands will go up and then they will touch the larger bands. It'll give you an opportunity to sell. The price will come down, the price will touch the lower bands and the outer bands together, and so on and so forth. So that is a way to actually enter positions on this, although I still wouldn't use this exact setup like this to enter positions. What I will do, actually we can do it on this chart, seeing that we're on this chart. The indicator that I love to add to this specific chart is the shadow trading indicator. Now we've covered this in a previous video. So if I add the shadow trading indicator, which also has the sound alerts by the way, that is going to give me a much stronger, it's going to give me a lot more confidence in entering a position. So as an example over here, we've had the divergence arrows from the shadow trading indicator, and we've got the momentum bar, the momentum line above price. However, the momentum line isn't very far from the price. So I'll be very hesitant to let this continue running for a very large period of time, because of the signal that was generated from the shadow trading wasn't as powerful. So often what happens in this case is the price will go up like this and then come down, perhaps create a bit of a lower low and then shoot up. Very seldom does it just shoot up. But as an example, that is a way of taking a signal when the two bands are basically coming together. I always like adding the shadow trading indicator to a chart like this, because in that way I can basically scalp the market and take advantage of smaller trades like that, especially when I haven't got this huge deviation in price from the momentum line of the shadow trading indicator. So as an example, the top of the chart, so as you're seeing the momentum line right now is exactly how you would see it in real time. So that does not repaint. It's basically showing exactly where it is in real time. So in this type of situation, we are seeing the price increasing. We've got all these divergences over here. Now we've got quite a few instances where this momentum line is dropping. Okay. So we may be enticed to take positions. We may be enticed to take positions like that as a sell because of that momentum line positioning. But if you notice, the momentum line isn't that far away from price. So we've got to be a little bit more hesitant in taking positions on the shadow trading until you get to a situation like this. You see the distance in price, the distance price is away from the momentum line. So that there is a much more powerful signal, and the two prices of the two data series are in the upper bands. So then that there will be a great opportunity to actually sell this price coming down, watching the momentum line. The momentum line acts like a magnet for the price. It's still coming down. Over here, this is the first time where the two bands are touching again, and the momentum line is facing up, so a time to exit the position. We're watching the price came up, touched the two bands again, momentum line below price, again not a powerful signal because the momentum line is right with the price, but still a decent trade because we've got the confluence basically of the two bands together and the momentum line below price. Obviously I would love to see an arrow over there, that'll be even a better thing, but this type of thing happens, and this price even continued up. So sometimes what will happen is you'll get a signal like this, the momentum line will shoot up, but the price will still come down and hit a lower low while that momentum line stays up, and then come up again. So it all depends on how fast they want to move the market. But no, like that little signal we took earlier is a beautiful little signal. You just got to have a tight stop on that because of the positioning of that momentum line. So that is when I was saying, earlier, we don't only use the ultimate bands by themselves to make trading decisions, but they are an incredible tool to assist in that regard when combined with the shadow trading, as an example. Let's have a look. So I've also applied this to a different size chart. So here is a 10-10 and a 30-30. So another beautiful type of a situation where you can get these much larger moves in price and trade those. Again, a great idea is adding your shadow trading indicator. Here is a 5-minute chart. So a similar thing, you can add your shadow trading to the minute charts as well. I don't think we covered this in the previous videos, but the shadow trading can also be applied to a minute chart like this. We didn't have a powerful signal over here right now to enter this position, so we had a nice little run up, but it was good to exit that one early because we haven't got a clear direction from the momentum line. So just looking at a few different options of the indicator. So again, in real time, you'll be watching the price rise. The momentum line shoot up, but the let me just position this a bit better. Again, you'll see the momentum line rise up, but the price come down and touch the lower bands, and that could also be a beautiful instance of actually getting into a position because our momentum line is right up, and then trade that position all the way up until where price comes and touches the bar, which would have been over here. So if you're watching this in real time, that's exactly where the momentum line would have been, and you're watching it, and then at this stage it's touched price, the bar closed, and you can exit. So that was a good 276 point tick move in that on that specific signal, and then the momentum line has come back towards price and is coming down again. So taking these divergence signals off the bands is also a good way, and you'll find that they're going to be quite accurate. You're going to get a lot of these divergence arrows that happen in real time. And another thing too is they're not going to repaint. So as you can see, this arrow there, that arrow there, even though this arrow there was another one afterwards, it's still going to keep the previous signal because that is, those are the signals given by the indicator. Same with these, they're giving multiple arrows until the price does actually reverse. Again, with this type of thing, the reason why we're looking at the shadow trading with this indicator is because while this price is running down, it's actually touching the bands multiple times. So you don't want to be in a situation where you are buying the price and then the price continually runs down. And that's what's going to happen in this type of a situation. If you're getting multiple divergences, you're going to have multiple times where the price is going to run the band, and then you'll end up being in a major losing position. So that's why the key point with this is to combine the shadow trading indicator. You are watching the positioning of that momentum line. Sorry, I'm covering the shadow trading in a bit more depth here too, because I think this is vitally important in being able to trade the ultimate bands. You have to combine these two indicators as such an incredible combination to use when making these trading decisions. So we're watching the price, momentum line is still facing down, we've still got all these divergences, so we're basically not taking any of these trades because we've still got this momentum line in a position that is showing us that this price is still going to be going down, and that's in real time. Like I mentioned, it's only at this stage here where the momentum line is really facing up, and we still got more divergences at the bottom, the price would also have been on the bands at this stage. So the bands do move after the fact, but at this stage they would definitely have been touching the bands. And that's where you're going to get your signals going up. Momentum line is right up. You've got an arrow that's popped up there. You may just need to exit over there. Momentum line is definitely showing a difference in direction, even though it might be a short period. Again, we've got the price dropping down again into the lower band. Momentum line is facing down though. So we're still watching the price, and that was obviously the close of day. This is the new day, and so on and so forth. So that is why it's good to combine the shadow trading with the bands. And even better if you can combine two different data series. So here is a 500 tick Heiken Ashi chart. So same type of thing. You can apply your indicator, your shadow trading indicator, so that the shadow trading indicator can work on any chart. Actually, it can actually work on any chart, and provides these really incredible signals. Always just make sure your positioning of your indicator is right. So that's that one. I've even got it on a 5-minute chart like this, KG chart. Let me just see if I apply the indicator. I've never applied the shadow trading to this specific chart. So this is definitely a first. I'm going to be doing over here. Yeah, it's no, that just, I don't know, maybe there's definitely times where it is showing, this gap in price, but it just seems to be too jagged. So I probably would not rely on that as an accurate indicator. So let's remove that. Shadow trading. And what else do I have? Oh, I've got a 1,000 tick chart. So the tick charts, definitely you can use your shadow trading for them also, as we've used on the analytical. So there it's showing you the first signal out of the bands. So that price was running the bands all that way, had that signal. This is on the 1-1 chart. So definitely have a look at this. So like as an example now, I mean, if you are just relying on the selling of a price, from touching the bands like that, your chance of success is going to be so much lower, because you can't just rely on the price touching the bands on a data series. So as you notice there, the price actually moved up, the next bar moved up, and the band also moved. So that is what's going to happen in this situation. So I know it looks perfect when you're looking backwards, but these bands do move. And just imagine if they didn't. Imagine if this was in real life. This indicator alone will absolutely crash the exchange, because you're going to have these huge moves in price, just generating these signals. I mean, it'll be 100% accuracy if this was, if these bands did not move, and that will, it'll be blocked so quickly from trading. So that's why, looking back at the bands, you are going to notice they look amazing, but you always just want to look at the far right of the chart, because that's where your trading decisions are made. And do understand that these bands are moving, but by applying a few different indicators. So my first bet is definitely the shadow trading indicator. So even applying the shadow trading indicator to the 1-1 chart. So if you want to take small trades on the the ES chart with the shadow trading on a 1-1, I mean, you've got a very small bar size. You've only got one tick. And as you can see immediately, I took a trade in the wrong direction. You see, just by adding the shadow trading indicator, it's immediately told me that I'm in the wrong direction because the momentum line is right up. So that's why we're not just relying on the specific bouncing of the bands. However, if I had this indicator loaded and I had actually purchased, I did a buy when the price touched the lower band with the momentum right up, my chance of success would obviously be a lot higher. I know it's only a 1-1 chart, but this applies to all different charts, as we saw earlier on the 5-minute chart and so on. So there we go. So that's why it's super important to apply a combination of indicators to a chart, even if it's just these two together. I think they are absolutely powerful. You can obviously go and experiment with a few others, but if you could try keep your chart as clean and simple as possible. I mean, the last thing that you want is your chart to look like a Christmas tree. I mean, already we have a lot of colors and things happening on the chart, you know, so we don't want to be adding too much to the charts. In fact, if you go into your indicators, you can probably lessen the opacity of the areas to make them a bit dull. You can also go and change the coloring of the bars if you wanted to, but you know, leaving them green and gold like this is just going to help you determine who's in control of price. So there we go. We were stopped out because we entered over there when the price was in the band, but the band had moved afterwards. So there we go. Vitally important to combine a few different things. Okay, so that is the shadow trading. Sorry, it was a bit of the shadow trading, the ultimate band and the shadow trading. Sorry, it was a bit of a longer video, but I think if you guys pay attention to that specific data or this specific setup with the ultimate bands and the shadow trading, it's going to greatly increase your chance of success. Okay, the next indicator we'll look at is the velocity, the vertical line, and the two things. I think they can all be covered in one video. Then we're done with the indicators for right now until new updates are made. Thank you, and see you on the next video.